Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of The Amazing Race Season 32, Episode number 2. We are in Colombia, a place that apparently contains such activities as clown college, as, putting together random cars. Who comes up with these challenges? What producer is wandering around the streets of Colombia and they say, oh, we see a parking lot. This inspires us. Let's make them put together cars.
I love the clown college stuff. That was awesome. And seeing people, they should be pieing each other in the face, pieing ourselves in the face.
Why was there no pie in the clown? I have so many questions about the clown challenge. I have a lot of questions about this episode in general. Before we get into it, we have a lot to get into, including the kind of upsetting elimination of Kelly and Levon.
Yeah, I'm not happy about losing these two. I really like them. They just have such a nice energy about them. I'm really bummed.
I am too, but if you do enjoy this discussion, subscribe and give us a like. That way you don't miss anything else we got going on.
Yeah, because some of the other stuff we have going on, we are doing Bachelorette. We just had our review up from yesterday. It's here up at the YouTube channel, so make sure you check it out.
We're going to be here doing Amazing Race, by the way, every single week. As soon as they wrap up, we'll try our best to get this video to you fairly soon. Next week may be a little crazy because of Big Brother finale, but
we are going to figure it out. We are here for you all season.
We are running this race just like everyone else did almost 2 years ago when they filmed it.
That's right, till the wheels fall off, dude, guys.
No, it's the horn that's apparently going to come off because you don't remember to put it on in the first place.
Or read the clue the whole way through.
Oh, you said that like it was almost like a spell.
That's right. It's always in the clues.
Okay, so
as Nick Cage would say.
The clues are in the Constitution. Okay, well, we kick off this leg. We are going from where we were in the Caribbean, and they're going to Colombia. There's some time in Bogota. Eventually, we see them sort of travel around a little bit. But in order to get here, the first challenge that kind of stands out to me is you go into the Great Salt Mines, which I kind of felt like there was going to be something more exciting going on in the salt mines than go and find our own new weird version of the yield twist from years ago.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to use that area a little bit differently, but we got what we got.
We're going to continue in this video our ongoing segment of what would Matt and Jess do to potentially lose the Amazing Race at every turn, because we've already established we kind of suck at a lot of things that are on the race. But
the thing is I get the time advantage, but in this show, the time advantage doesn't always end up being an advantage because they always have something like the car, where they've got a very specific thing that is always going to mess everybody up and sort of make everybody all there at the same time.
I go back and forth on this. I will say that, for me, I would probably look for about 5 minutes for the 20-minute advantage over the 10, but if I didn't see it at that point, I would be like, okay, unless I just know that I'm stuck in the back of the pack, in which case I'd take my time, I would just be like, you know what, let's just cut bait, let's take the 30-minute lead and see if we can figure it out.
Yeah.
It's, okay, we kind of, I think I got the teams that got the 20 minutes. It's Will and James, D'Angelo and Gary, Riley and Madison, and Kaylin and Haley, and finally Michelle and Victoria. I hope that is right. It all went by quickly.
It did go by quickly. I kind of wish they would just have sort of like a little tally, even just a card to just be like, this is where everybody is, just in case it went by too fast for you, like me. I would like to see it.
I have a hot take here. It's not the hottest take I have in this video, but I kind of don't like this twist because it kind of feels like if we were, it would be like Survivor and we show up and Probst is like, guys, I have a new challenge for you. There's an immunity idol hidden for all of you in the beach, and you get to go. Everybody goes and gets the idol. Not everybody should have an advantage. Just make it 1 or 2 teams and have an expiration date.
I don't think that's such a hot take. I think that is right.
Okay, well, I don't know.
For me, I think it's right. I think it is weird, and it would be like Jeff being like, oh, idols for everyone. Are you going to the Big Brother house? Vetoes for everyone. It's just kind of like, what? How is this all? This just doesn't make it competitive enough.
as someone who occasionally gets up and doesn't remember what he gets up to do, I don't want to have to sit here through the remainder of the season and try to remember who has what number of a yield advantage, because this could be like one of those Survivor episodes where everyone plays their idols and advantages at the same tribal. What if they all yield each other in the same episode?
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. And we'll have a conversation about this yield because I think it does come up a little bit later on. But this all happens, and then you see everyone go to, they go up this tower, and this is where I thought we were going to get a detour or something at this point, and instead it was like, would you rather have like this gold thingy or like this emerald? And
it just felt like, do you want to go to this guy with the beard or with 3 guys with a map? Like, it's kind of like, there's no advantage really to either. It's all the same.
This is the most important question I will ask you throughout the entirety of this video. Are you going for the beard or are you going for the guys with the map? Pick your poison.
Oh, I'm going for the emeralds.
Okay, see, is this because the emeralds are rare in Minecraft?
That probably is why I didn't think of that, but yes.
Okay, so there you go.
They are very rare. No, I just like sort of stones. That's a thing that I really like.
I'll tell you what I don't like. I didn't like this. I like Will and James. We haven't really talked about them in the videos so much yet, but I'm not down for the let's all just king up together and let's get this team of 5 to the finish line. It's like, I've already seen this on Big Brother this season. I don't need another dominant alliance in my life.
That was what I was thinking when I saw that as well, but it's a good strategy. You can't fault them for this.
Technically, since they did do this before Big Brother, should Will and James start calling out Big Brother house guests for somehow knowing their strategy that they created long before it aired?
Could be.
Interesting. Okay, no, that didn't happen. But this leg was weird because there was no detour. It still didn't actually feel like there was this huge abundance of content throughout.
Yeah, that was a bit of the thing with this episode. It really didn't feel like it had as much content as the premiere, but there was some cool stuff when they finally got to the clown college. That was really fun, and seeing that girl twirling by her hair was beyond entertaining. The brass band being like, wah, wah,
okay,
wah.
yeah,
it was so good. I loved it.
Okay, it was
so fun.
If we are there, okay, let's say we show up there, we see the clue, who wants the clown around? You are probably going to have to, physically restrain me from doing this because I see clowns and I'm just like, I'm in, let's do this.
Yeah, and I thought if we got here that we would actually both have a problem with this because everything I touch drops. Everywhere I go, I fall. So that whole tightrope thing, I would be up there still 2 years later. And then you also kind of have the same problem a little bit with balance. I was just like, we both have balance problems. I was like, put me in that ring of death or whatever. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But once I have to go up there, it's over.
Here's the thing. If you could take, my ability to occasionally hold things and combine that with your ability to kind of balance, we might figure it out.
I really can't balance.
Okay, well, maybe we do.
You watched me fall up the stairs once.
Okay, yeah, this is true, but I've fallen down the stairs a lot, if that counts for anything.
I have as well.
This is the thing, though, because this is my hottest take of the video.
All right, here we go.
I am actually kind of pro-clown. I know a lot of people are really afraid of clowns. I kind of like clowns. I don't have any problem with clowns. And so I would be, super in on doing this. I think it'd be fun, but my assumption upon seeing that roadblock clue would have been that I would have been wandering around in the really big pants. I'm pieing people in the face. I'm honking the nose horn.
Is that really what you would think that would be?
I wouldn't think it would be go do a higher wire act while trying to, because those are other circus people. Those aren't clowns.
This is true, but I certainly wouldn't think that I'm pieing myself in the face. I mean, that sounds pretty easy.
Well, I'll be honest.
Here's your challenge. Honk, honk.
Okay.
Here's your clue. Next station. I'm like, all right.
Hey, I would honk that nose horn with so much conviction. They would give me first place. Phil would just be like, let's stop the race right here. You guys go on. Okay, not really. But the thing is that I would not have done well in this competition. I was surprised. It felt like for a long time, no one had any problem with this at all.
Yeah, I was really surprised as well. Like, watching person after person, yeah, they were shaking a little, but I was like, people are really killing this. Is this as easy as it looks? And all this time, I've thought these high wire acts were death-defying, and here's, like, person after person after person with glasses, with wine. I was like, wow, okay, maybe I could have done this.
Like, we saw D'Angelo do really well kind of early on, and
Yep.
I was thinking at that point, I was like, D'Angelo's a running back. Like, you got to have really good footwork to be able to do something
It's
like
true.
that. So I just thought he had, like, some natural superhuman proclivity for it. But then, like, everyone else did really well, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, maybe D'Angelo wasn't actually that great. He was just, like, normal.
Yeah, it didn't really trip up really anybody. Like, a couple of falls, but not really anything that stopped anybody from getting to that next challenge.
Alana really, I think, seemed to have the hardest challenge of it. I think maybe...
And she only dropped it a couple times. Like, it really didn't... I don't think it set her back that much.
No, not really. The Wheel of Death actually did not feel... They need to change this to, like, the Wheel of Easy, because it didn't actually seem like there was any real, I don't know, like, strategy.
Yeah, I thought the idea was to get everybody dizzy and then put them up on it. But, we've seen bad salsa, and if you haven't seen that act where that girl is spinning like crazy and then is still like, hey, and dancing no problem, like, that wheel was nothing.
This leg of the race also introduced us to the first major instance this time around of bad taxi cab drivers. Because I believe it was Kaylin and Haley. I hope I get everyone's names right. It's still early. But their driver, I think at one point said, in theory, we're going to the right place.
Yeah, Kelly and Lavon also got screwed with a bad driver.
If your driver says to you the words, in theory, you get out of that cab as soon as humanly possible.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that is not a good situation.
And then Kelly and Lavon were stuck in a cab with a guy who didn't even have his charger with him. I was like, I gave it to another guy. There's another driver has my cable. At that point, I'd also be like, you need to pull over.
The real, I think, questionable move here comes when, if you are Kaylin and Haley, and you show up and you're kind of late in the game, and you have this designated spot where you can put down your random yield or whatever. They had a pretty good yield. I would have used it. Like, I wouldn't have taken the chance if I was them.
I was thinking about it too, because I get where they were kind of coming from at first, where they were like, oh man, should we? And then they kind of had a little bit of regret about it. I think that they probably, we know what the outcome is,
Yeah.
but I would have used it. And I know that it's early in the game, but you need to stay in the game to get further in the game. And you can get ahead a little bit later on.
The thing I'm really worried about with this twist is we're going to get to a point where almost every leg, like one team near the end is going to use it on another team near the bottom, and it's just going to lead to like super predictable eliminations every single time.
Or we're going to have the main alliance just yielding over and over again this other group of people until this other group of people realize that the first group are in an alliance, and by then it's Big Brother all over again, and it's too late, and you're the last person standing being like, I think everybody's working together.
If this season help happens like that, I will go down to Colombia and get those clown people to paint my face, and then I will just sit there on that high wire act and cry. I don't need that to happen on another reality show I love.
No.
No, you do not want to see sad, crying clown makeup man.
No, I really don't want to see that either.
So don't do that to us, guys. Let's just find a way to have competition. Isn't that fun?
All right, let's talk about the customizing of the car. I gotta say, my girl hung standing under that car like it's nothing. She's my short girl sister. I'm only 5 feet. I totally get that, where she's just like, man, in life, I always wish I was taller, could reach this or whatever, but my shortness is coming in handy. That's right, Hung. It came in handy. We are good being shorter.
Hung and Chi, they're bosses, man.
love them, man.
Like,
And they're so cute.
like, yeah, they have, like, that adorable relationship. They're really, really good at these tasks. Like, you don't look at them and you think, oh, they're gonna be, like, physical beasts, but it's another reminder. Amazing Race is maybe, like, 20% physical, and it's, like, 80% mental, and having, like, the wherewithal to understand what's happening in the moment.
Yeah, it's true. And it's about being able to really work together on this. And these two really, really work together well. Their relationship is amazing. I love them. They came in first again.
This is the thing. Like, if this is one thing I for sure would do if I was on the race. If we were on there together, you would probably be very irritated with me by a couple of tasks because I would pull up these clues and I would be like, in this task, you must do.
I would not be irritated at that at all. It is always in the clues, and it is always the thing that ends up getting messed up. And even Phil said it. Oh, these guys are going to completely miss the horns. It's right there. It says it in the clue, the horns. Like, and you can hear other people where you finish your task and they hit the horn. So clearly, check the horn.
It's one of those sort of things. It's probably so much easier for us to be on the outside looking in and be like, how do you guys not know this? Because it's like Will and James apparently have seen every season of it.
Yes, and they even said, we know to read the clues. And they even said, oh man, maybe we should read the clue. We don't need the clue. It's like, guys, you know you need the clue.
You know you need the clue.
I'm really glad they did not get eliminated because of that. I really didn't want to see them go home yet.
No, and that would have been a big collapse because they had started in such good position and they had already had one team, I think it was Michelle and Victoria, who like came in late and was able to even pass them at that challenge.
Yeah.
This challenge was fine. I think the thing is just that's fine.
It's just fine.
Well, that's the thing.
Fine.
Like, you follow up.
It's no clown college.
No, you have clown college in this episode, and you have Deo in the premiere.
That was great.
You follow it up with some like weird low budget Pimp My Ride that doesn't really have anything to do with anything.
It's true.
It's just, if I wanted to go watch people put together cars, I could do it at like the mechanic place down the street. Like, I don't necessarily need it on The Amazing Race.
I think I would have just liked to have seen it a little more on the outside of it. That if you're going to give us something visual, don't get us some streamers that we could get at Target and then, tape them to the back of the car.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe this is a really popular thing in Colombia. I just don't know. It just feels like you could have done something that was a little bit more interesting, a little bit more like interacting with some of the local people, because that's like a part of the fun of the show. And that's what made that clown thing so fun.
It was fun.
You had the band. You had
the band made it.
Like,
they were so good.
They were so good, and that really helped everything. But Hung and Chi, great on them. First place. D'Angelo and Gary, they have risen from the dead. They were in last. Now they are in second place.
Yep, they're doing good. I
think so long as they don't have Gary do anything music related for the rest of the race, I think they're going to be all right.
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I always think like the first leg, things can get a little bit fluky. Something bad can happen. But it's like we kind of sort of are figuring out who some of the better teams are at this point.
Yeah.
Here is the big question that I'm sort of thinking about at this point. Because Leo and Alana, they made this decision that they were going to tell Kaylin and Haley a little something about the horn.
Yeah, they did.
Was this just because they were friends? Or is this because here's Kelly and Levon, who are Olympians. I love them. I would be terrified of being in a race with them.
Oh, I'd be very, very, very worried about them. They're Olympians. They're so likable. They're so smart. Like, I would be very worried about them.
Yeah, it just feels like it may have just been friendship. Maybe it was a little bit strategic. I don't know. I don't know if they could prove me wrong. I am not threatened as much by, at this point, Haley and Kaylin as I would be by Kelly and Levon physically.
All I know is that I was so mad when I saw that happen because I knew it was going to screw over Levon and Kelly and that I was probably going to lose them tonight.
I didn't know for sure, just because you had sort of Jerry and Frank mixed in there. And
yeah, that's true.
This is me putting on my tinfoil hat here because I was sort of thinking during the episode, they kept showing like Jerry and Frank talk about how, their relationship was changing over time. And I was like, oh, they're getting our emotional relationship edit. That means something bad's coming around the corner. And they're going to take them out really late.
Yeah.
It did seem like it was pretty close, though. It could have been editing, but it felt like they were pretty tightly bunched together in the end.
Yeah, it could have been editing, but I feel like Kelly and Levon were a little further behind than they made it look. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's sort of a bummer leg because it feels like they were mostly just victims of the fact that they got a terrible cab driver early and couldn't make up for it.
Yeah, that's really what it was. They couldn't make up for it. It just sucks.
Here's the good news. This is a fun season so far.
Yeah, it is.
I think we got a lot of likable teams. We have some reasonably good challenges, some that can just be a little bit better.
But there is a lot of people to root for this season, and that's something that I'm really enjoying about this season. It's actually the same thing I'm enjoying about Dancing with the Stars. We're also covering that. There are a lot of people on that show that I'm just like, man, I'm rooting for you and you and you. And Amazing Race is having the same effect on me. There's a lot of people that are just so likable.
Well, let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode. Who are you rooting for? Are you bummed by the elimination this time around? Excited? That seems like they're going to the Amazon next week? Share in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.